Hi, I'm Steve Finn from Finn Consulting Services, and we help a lot of brands turn themselves into a franchise or a license and then expand from there. And it's actually a common question that pops up when we're having our initial discussions is people often say, should I do master franchises or should I just have plenty of franchisees? So just to give you a quick understanding of this, and it's the same with a franchise or a license, it's the same. You might own the intellectual property and head office, so to speak. You own all that. Then generally what you would have is you'll have franchisees. So you'll have multiple, you might have 50 franchisees and they each run their own business underneath your banner. If you've got master franchises, you then put those in between. And by the way, they're not a master franchisor. There's only one franchisor. They're actually a master franchisee. So a franchisee and a master franchisee, and then that is a franchisor. That's the correct definition of all three. So we have master franchisees, and a master franchisee is designed to be able to go in between you and then the franchisees, and they'll take on the responsibility of normally growing and getting more people in their area, training those people often, and supporting them from an ongoing point of view. They'll take that on board. And then at head office, you might then just do the back end stuff, a lot of the group marketing, a lot of the admin, and maybe some supply of product or supply of leads, for example, that type of thing. So kind of operationally, they look after and you look after sort of everything else. Now the advantage of master franchising is that there's less work that you have to do and you need less employees because now you've got some business owner down who's doing this side of it. The disadvantage is you've got to cut often half of your revenue or even more in half because you've got to give it to them. So you've got less coming your way, you have less control. If you get a couple of good ones here, they're really great. It's the best thing that's ever happened. If you get people who are no good or bad, they've now bought in, they're not an employee, they've bought in, they are now an owner. So how do you get rid of them if you want to get rid of them? It can be very difficult. They might be slowing down your growth, only selling one new franchise a year. Something like that. They've only got 3 franchisees that are hardly doing any revenue from this unit that you've now sold. It might be, say, the state of New South Wales, for example. You're making hardly any money at all. If you owned it and ran it yourself directly, you could be, having 10, 15 new franchisees join per year and the whole thing growing. So now they can slow you down, you see? That's the challenges that you've got to think of when it comes to master franchising. So it just depends how you want to structure, what your model is, and how a lot of that stuff is handled in the agreement and the expectations around who you're recruiting and all of that sort of stuff. So it's actually quite a discussion to have to decide the best way forward. It's hard to undo. It's better to get it right in the beginning and then go with it rather than try to undo it afterwards. It can take years and cost you a lot of money as well.